Hello, good morning everyone. Today inshallah we will go through, we will continue on Leontief as I told you yesterday. Yesterday unfortunately we didn't have our whiteboard with us. I've recorded the lectures. You can find them easily on the YouTube so you can review them. Today I will try to solve step by step with you. I need this part to be well understood for each and every one. Here we have matrix which is a 2 by 2, okay, which is a 2 by 2 matrix, or yes, this one for example, and he's saying the following. Okay, we have the technical coefficient matrix of an economy. X stands for, do you know? X stands for what? Okay, is the production vector and the D is the final demand vector. For you, in order to follow up very well with me, let's make a small remember of what we had previously. First of all, the Leontief model states that X is gonna equal to A times X plus D, where we have X as a production, okay, of each sector. A is the technical, okay, matrix. X still in the production because it's the same vector and represents the production for more than one sector. And D stands for the final consumption or the final demand for this model. This is the forward, what I call it, the Weasley, okay, Leontief model, which governs production, intermediate demand, the final demand for each and every sector of these sectors. Okay, perfect. We can do easily in mathematics the inverse of the Leontief matrix. We have proved it previously, and the proof is really very simple. All I have to do is to try to isolate the production as a function in demand. And this is very, very simple. All I have to do, I will move A times X to the other side. So it will be X minus A times X, which is gonna equal to D. The second step I will take from the left, because we understand very well, all of us now, that taking a common factor or multiplication or something, or doing such a stuff with matrices, it will be different if you do it from the left than from the right. Maybe not gonna be accessible if you try to do it from right. So I will take X as a common from the left. So I will have X, which is gonna develop I minus A. Of course, I is the unit matrix, and it should be from the same dimension of the identity, the technical matrix, in order to be able to make this subtraction, okay? And it's gonna equal to D. Getting the inverse for both sides and multiplying, so simply I will multiply both sides in I minus A to the power of -1. This is what's called the inverse Weasley Leontief matrix. This is the inverse of this matrix. Okay, all I have to do now is to get X, which is going to equal to I minus A to the power of -1 times D. What's the major use for this function or for this relation? It will help you to get the production as a function in demand. So if I have a given demand, I can get the corresponding production units easily using the inverse Weasley matrix. Okay? The problem is really very easy to get the inverse Leontief matrix from the A matrix. All you have to do is to get the difference first, then the results you will use in order to get the inverse of this matrix, plus you have X as a function in D. Okay, let's get back to our problem. Now we have A matrix, so this is available. We have the X column, so this is available, this is available. So we will see what he's going to seek. He is saying that what is the quantity of each good available for final demand, which is really very simple. In order to get this, I will use the main equation of the Weasley model. How to use it? Just make substitutions. So all I have to do is to get x, okay, which is gonna equal to, okay, I'm sorry, I will use this one in order to get the final demand directly. And instead of using this part and to get the difference, I will use this part directly. So now I need to have the final demand. So this is gonna be the final demand. Okay, I will get I, which should be 1, 0, 0, 1, and I will subtract A from this matrix. Here we go. And this matrix is given by 1 over 11, 0, 2 over 11, and then 2 over 7. Is it correct? Tala, correct? Okay, the production that's given is 44 and 35. Okay, first of all, I will have to get the value of the difference between these two matrices, which is very, very simple. Can you do it? Yes, of course. 1 is simply 11 over. So once you subtract 1 over 11 from 11 over 11, you will end up having, okay, 0 minus 0, so it will be, same way like 0 minus 2 over 11, so it will be 1 minus 2 over 7. The 1 in this case, I will look at it at 7 over 7. So, yes, it's very, very simple. 5 over 7. I didn't need to use a calculator or something. Then I will multiply by the production, which is 44 and 35. So the result will be, other results. I will take 10 over 11 times 44. It's very, very simple. 10 over 11 times 44, which is gonna lead to plus 0 times 5 over 7. So this is gonna be plus a 0, so the result will be. In a similar manner, same way like negative 2 over 11, here we go, negative 11, negative 2 over 11. I will multiply it by 44, then I will add 5 over 7 times 35. The result will be. It's really very handleable, because once you see, you can simplify 11 with 44, you will have 4. 4 times 10, so the result will be 40. And in a similar manner, 11 will go with the 44, leaving 4. So negative 2 times 4 is going to come up to negative 8. In a similar manner, 7 with 35, if you just try to simplify things a little bit, so you will have 5, I believe, 5 times 7. So 5 times 5 is going to be 25. So this is plus 25. Negative 8 plus 25, you will have 17, I believe? Yes? Okay, 17. So the final demand, it's gonna be 40 and 70. So actually, the amount of the intermediate demand, can you speculate how much it is for the intermediate demand? The difference between the production, which is 44 and 35, and 40. So 4 from the first sector will go for the intermediate demand. 35 minus 17, so it's going to be 18, which is going to go for the second sector. But this is the final demand, this is C. Okay, very good. Okay, now I want to find the inverse of the Leontief matrix. That's I minus e to the power of negative 5. I shouldn't try this. I need to find the inverse of Leontief matrix. You know that I need to find this one. How to get this matrix? How to get this matrix? Okay, already I have this one, which is the difference between the unit matrix and the A matrix. So this is the unit matrix, mainly 1, 0, 0, 1, minus the entries, which is 1 over 11, 2 over 11, 0, and 2 over 7. Now, after subtracting these elements, as you can see, okay, all is perfect. Now I will need to get the inverse. How to get the inverse? Do you remember? Okay. So the Leontief matrix, which is I minus A to the power of -1, we had previously, I've told you about a very fast method in order to get the inverse of this matrix directly. What I will have to do is to get 1 divided by the value of the determinant of this matrix.
1 over A minus.
Yep. Okay, let's do it. So it's 10 over 11 times 5 over 7. Here we go. 10 over 11 times 5 over what? Over 7. بعدين minus 0. So it's minus 0. Then I will open the matrix in which I will replace the position of these two numbers. So it's gonna be 5 over 7 and then 10 over 11 and have a negative sign for the two sides. So negative times 0, it will be the same, but this number it's gonna be 2 over what?
11.
Over 11. Now I have to finalize this process. 5 times 10, which is gonna be
5 times 10,
50. 7 times 11 is gonna be 77. You know that denominator of a denominator is a nominator. So this value, actually, it's gonna be 77 over 50. Are you agree with that? Is it okay with you?
ليه بقى؟
Okay, let's first do the multiplication. 10 times 5 is gonna be?
50.
With 7 times 11, it's gonna be divided by 77. We have one of the rules for the fractions, which states that a denominator of a denominator, it's gonna be a nominator. Okay? So this is why we have 77 over 50. What's remaining now is to let this number to go multiplied by all the elements inside this matrix. So now we have 77 over 50 times 5 over 7. So all I have, 7 with 77, it's gonna be 11. 5 with 50, it's gonna be a 10. معايا يا بس؟ طبعا؟
سؤال.
اتفضلي.
انا بعملها اللي هو بعد ما بعكسهم دول في الماتريسيز وكده، بعدها بجيب النمبر اللي هو 1 اوفر كذا وبشوفه ايكوالز لكام.
بحسب الفاليو.
ايوه، ولو هو مثلا 1 اوفر 2 في الاخر ده
هي remain 1 over 2.
أيوة،
بس لو هو 1
هجيب
over
الهاف بتاع
half
الماتريسيز.
it means 2 وهتطلعه فوق. انا كده قادر اجاوبك. فاهم انا قصدي ايه؟ There is a difference between 1 over 2. There is a difference between 1 over 2 and 1 over half. صباح الخير يا فراس. There is a great difference between them. 1 over 2, it means all these elements will be multiplied by 1 over 2. Okay? بس من
مش خلاص.
اوكي بس لو انا عندي 1 over 1 over 2
لا ما كانش قصدي كده.
اوكي ده مش هيبقى كده. ده هيبقى مكانه مين دلوقتي؟ multiplied by all the elements. Okay? Okay, now 77 over 50 times 0, so the result will be 0. بعدين 77 over 50 times 2 over 11. So first of all, 11 with 77, you will have 7. 7 times 2, which is going to come up to 14. And this value is divided by 50. If you want to simplify it more, it's going to be 7 over 25, if you like. Okay, for the other part, 77 times 10 over 11. 11 with 77, you will have 7. 7 times 10, so it's going to be 70 over 50. So this is going to be 70 over 50. Okay? This is the inverse Leontief matrix, which states that we have 11 over 10, 70 over 50. This is going to be 7 over 25. I can get them as fractions easily, because as you can see, the denominators are can be multiplied in something to reach 100, for example. So the first one, it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be 1.10. This value is going to be 2.28. That value is going to be 1.4. That's the inverse Leontief matrix if you like to put it on this form. Okay? So Question number B is completely answers. Okay, he's saying to you what is the production of each sector to satisfy the final demand of 40 and 42. What to do? What to do? I need what? I need the production to meet a final demand of 40 and 42. It's very simple. So I will have to get back once more. I will write it here. I write the solution here. I can see now this part is already on the camera, so I can write it here. Okay, all I have to do now in order to get this, so this is for number C, all I have to do is to take, in order to get the production, I will take the inverse Leontief matrix, which I had now. Can you please help me with it? Which is 1.1, 0, then
0.28,
0.28, then
1.4.
1.4, and it will be multiplied by the final demand column, which is a 40, then a 42. That's X will equal to 1.1 times 40, so it's going to come up to 0.28 times 40, this is for the final one, 0.28 times 40, then plus 1.4 times 42. Okay? These are the numbers required for the production of these sectors. This is the production of sector 1, and this is the production of sector 2. معايا في راسك؟ Okay, there is a very nice question. What is the economic interpretation for the fact that the entries in the main diagonal, these numbers, okay, of the inverse Leontief matrix are larger than 1. ايه المعنى ده؟ ايه المعنى ده؟ انت شايف وجهة نظرك، ايه المعنى بتاع ده؟ خلي بالك. What is the economic interpretation for the fact? Okay, this answer, it's related, or these points are related, if the principal diagonal of the main matrix, the technical matrix, has numbers greater than positive 1, which actually on the principal diagonal. So if I have the technical matrix of Leontief with the diagonal of this matrix, elements equal to positive 1, the following results are facts. Number 1, if a principal diagonal value is greater than 1, it suggests that all sectors are highly dependent on their own production, which means that for the first sector, we are talking about the principal diagonal. Do you know what's the elements of the principal diagonal? A11, A22, A33. So A11 is the amount of input that's used for the first sector in order to start producing or to continue producing. So having more than 1%, it means that this line will need products, more income, will need more income than what's gonna give as an, it will need more input than the output of the sector. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
اوكي، يعني ده معناه ان القطاع الاولاني محتاج ينتج اكتر ما بيخرج. فاهم؟ عشان كده ما ينفعش البرنسبل diagonal, it's not correct. So the principal diagonal of the Leontief matrix is greater than 1 because simply it's not going to be accessible. You are not going to be able to handle this. Okay? It needs a major change in this economical system. Okay. Also, all sectors requiring more resources from themselves than they can produce. That's the meaning that I've explained to you. Also suggests that the sectors are highly dependent on their product. Invisible production. There will be no solution for this situation. انت علشان تبدا تشتغل بالسيكتور ده محتاج تدخل فيه انبوت اكتر من اللي انت بتخرجه اصلا منه. فبالتالي this is not that. This is not the case. I've answered these questions as I understood mainly that, or I got confused. I was trying to answer that if the principal diagonal values are larger than 1. But actually the question is in a specific about the inverse Leontief matrix. يا فراس انت فاهم انا بقول ايه؟ اللي انا جاوبته ورا ده جاوبته لو الماتريكس بتاعت ال A هي البرنسبل دايجونال بتاعها greater than كام؟ than 1. لكن هو ما سالنيش على ده. اوكي؟ فلذلك ده معناه you will have to read the question very carefully to understand what he's targeting. We are not talking about the technical matrix. We are talking about the inverse of Leontief matrix. The inverse of Leontief matrix, as this case, you can see that the elements of the principal diagonal are exceeding positive 1, which means that entries larger than 1 in the inverse Leontief matrix reflect strong intersectoral dependencies, indicating that satisfying the final demand of one sector requires a substantial use of inputs from others, often leading to a cascading effect on the economy. ده برضو معناه ان هنا عندك تحميل شديد جدا معايا في البرودكشن نتيجه الديماند الضخم جدا على السيكتور الاولاني او السيكتور الثاني على سبيل المثال. فده معناه ان الايكونوميكال سيستم برضو بتاعك محتاج انك تعمل فيه certain adjustment. فاهم معنى كلامي؟ يعني انت علشان تستعمل تميت الديماند الكبير بتاعك البرودكشن بتاعك ممكن ما يبقاش ايه؟ ممكن ما يبقاش كافي to satisfy this. You have to seek other solutions. فاهمني؟ اوكي. طبعا ده مش التايبيكال question. It's not the typical questions that you can face from a point of view in an exam or so. I'm not really sure for that. I've asked our colleagues just to confirm if these questions are going to be in your exams or quizzes or something, because these questions, these type of questions, need research from you. It's very good material to understand the differences or the effects on the economy of moving any number in the demand or in the production columns. Okay. For the second problem, I think we did go through something like this previously. And it's really very close to the ones that you face in your exams. So he's saying that consider an economy with technical coefficient matrix given by this technical matrix. Okay, does it make sense to define profit per monetary unit of good J at the sum of the entries in column J of A? تاني فراس بص لي كده دي معناها ايه؟ If so justify. لو كده قول لي. طيب if not, how would you define it and why؟ تقدر تعرف ده بإيه وليه؟ معايا؟ أرجوك اقرأ أكتر من مرة. لغاية ما أنا clean this word. ها؟ اقرأ كده تاني فراس.
أنا مش فاهم حاجة.
ما هو أنا عشان كده قلت لك اقرأ بصوت عالي.
طيب does it make sense to define profit per monetary?
Stop. هو انت البروفيت ده بتجيبه ازاي؟ يعني انت تعرف يعني ايه بروفيت طبعا. ازاي بجيب بروفيت؟ ايه؟
مش عارف ازاي اجيبه بصراحه.
ازاي؟ البروفيت is the difference between the revenue and the total costs. Yes?
Okay.
صح؟ For any
This
is the difference between the revenue and the total costs. So once more, read once more.
Does it make sense to define profit per monetary unit of good? J as the sum of the entries.
Stop. I'm talking about the first good or sector number 1. Sector number 1, this is what states here, unit of good J. Let's say for number 1. Okay? Add the sum of the entries in the column of J. يعني هو بيمثل المجموع بتاع الانتريز بتاع J. مش في التكنيكال ماتريكس after you finish. ها معايا؟ طيب هو اصلا ويزلي لينتو بيديك ايه؟ بيديك برودكشن. مش انت عندك اكس الفاينل برودكشن او البرودكشن بتاعك اكس is equal to ax plus d. This is the main equation.
Okay.
Yes, x stand for what? The production.
Okay.
Okay. طيب ax is the intermediate demand and d is the demand. So actually the equation is stating that if you have certain production and you can speculate the value of the demand.
So how do we get the profit?
That's a good question. The profit is related to what? فكر. The profit by itself, that's the profit function, equal to revenue, which is prices times sectors production. ده اللي انا بطلق عليه ايه؟ ده بيطلق عليه ايه؟ revenue minus what's called the total costs. Total cost function is the fixed cost plus variable cost. Okay? Which is partially related to production. So the total cost by itself, it will depend as a function in X on the production. Am I right? فاهمين يا بوي؟
No.
الريفينيو اصلا هو function okay of مين؟ of XI. يعني في البرودكشن انت هتبيع ايه؟ انت تدخل فلوس ازاي؟ ريفينيو يعني فلوس. تدخل ازاي؟ تعمل products from all sectors, services, for example, for the same model that we are talking about previously, from the sector of agriculture, from the sector of manufacturing, from the services. You can sell them for prices. So it's an income, okay? Income means revenue. In order to get the profit, the difference between the income and the expenditures, total expenditures, which is actually a function in the production. Okay? So actually the total cost, partially, it's another function that depends on XR. The difference between these two elements will affect the profit. And the both of them depend on what? معايا مان؟ طيب والبرودكشن كنت بجيبه ازاي؟ لو انت واخد بالك كنت بجيب البرودكشن لما تاخد الكوانتيتيز دي وتعمل لها multiplication في البرودكشن plus a D, you will get the total production required. So, does it make sense to define profit per monetary units of good J as the sum of the entries in column J? Yes, it makes sense. لو انا جمعت النمبرز دي على بعضها، لو انا جمعت النمبرز دي، فاكر المسألة اللي احنا خدناها do you remember the problem؟ ما ينفعش تلعب على ده وانا بكلمك في حاجة مهمة قوي، محتاجة concentration عليها. Do you remember not the previous lecture, the lecture before? When we try to see which sector is affecting the more on the production. So we changed the demand for 1 unit for first sector, for second sector, for third sector. And by this mean, we got to find the total production required of the system due to an increase in demand of first sector, or second, or third. Do you remember this problem? Okay. In a similar manner, it means that if we sum all the elements of the X value, it will give you the total production of an economical system. انت كده هتجمع البرودكشن as a monetary units اللي بيخرج من عملية السيكتور الأولاني ومن السيكتور الثاني ومن السيكتور الثالث. كل ده بيعبر في النهاية عن إيه؟ الفلوس اللي هتدخل في الاقتصاد بتاعك. اللي هو قايم على كام سيكتور as the previous problem؟ 3 sectors. الagriculture والmanufacturing والservices. يبقى أنا لو جمعت دول هجيب الإكس آر. الاكس اي ده هيخش على طول في الفانكشن بتاعت مين؟ بتاعت البروفيت، لانه mainly function بتاعت البروفيت it will depend on the revenue function which is a function in production and also will depend on the total costs which is another function in production. So mainly profit it will depend on production and the difference between them. If the negative sign, the total costs increases then the production, you will lose one. If this difference is positive value, you will gain money. Yes? ده معايا في الرسم؟ Okay, so this is the answer for the first question. هنا بيقول لك find the I minus A to the power of negative 1, which is the inverse Leontief matrix. Can you find the inverse Leontief matrix from this problem? Is it now simpler? Or I have to do what to do, Taleb?
ممكن أحله؟
ادي فرصة لتلا وانت معايا. قول.
الانفرس عن matrices دي.
Just a second. Sing. I need to hear your voice.
عشان
So louder.
عشان نفتح matrices
Okay.
فيها 0
1,
1 0
Zero.
0 1
0, 1. Stop, please. This is a 2 by 2 because the technical matrix is. Okay, so if the technical matrix was a 3 by 3, this one is going to be 3 by 3. Continue, please.
نفتح matrices ثانية نكتب فيها بقى 2 over 5
2 over 5,
2 over 5 2 over 5
2 over 5, all of them 2 over 5s. Okay. Then,
نفتح matrices ثانية
okay, then,
هنعملها بقى
قوليها اعمليها.
هنعمل
انت تقدري تعمليها. ها؟ ال1 عبارة عن ايه؟ ده ايه؟
2 over 5
يبقى ال1 ده لازم يبقى ايه؟
5 over 5
و 5 over 5 minus 2 over 5, the result will be?
3 over 5
So it's a 3 over 5. 0 minus 2 over 5, so it's gonna be?
negative 2 over 5
0 minus 2 over 5, so it's gonna be?
negative 2 over 5 والثانية تبقى 3 over 5
ولا أروع. ولا أروع. Can you get the inverse of this matrix as quick as possible? يلا.
1 over 3 over
9 over, yes, you're right.
5
3 over 5 times 3 over 5, so it's gonna be 9 over 25. Then minus,
minus
the sign is gonna be positive.
positive
4 over,
4 over 25
yes, exactly right. And this is gonna be, open the new matrix, which is will be, those numbers will be replaced. So they will stay the same, which can be written as, okay, just leave them first at 3 over 5s.
تبقى نفس الحاجة بس بدل ما signs يبقوا negative هيبقوا positive
ولا أروع. 2 over 5, 2 over 5. This number can be 9 minus 4, so it will be
تبقى 5
divided by,
5 divided by 25
yes, a denominator over denominator is gonna be,
يبقى denominator
so this value, it's gonna be 1 over 5 divided by,
20
so simply I can move the 25 to be a nominator. Yes? 25 over 5, so the result will be, so all of this can be now cancelled, and I will have to multiply 5 times all of this, which is gonna be simply
5 times 2
3, 2,
2 بعدها 3
2,
2 3
and 3. Yes, am I right? Which is going to equal to I minus a to the power of negative 1. So all we had to do is to get the differences for the technical matrix, which will come to 3 over 5 minus 2 over 5 minus 2 over 5 and 3 over 5. I'm just reviewing as fast as possible. Then I will replace the numbers, negative signs for the two sides. Then we will multiply by, this is going to be 9 over 25, then minus 4 over 25, 5 over 25, so it's going to be 5 times, these are the numbers of this matrix. How to check if we are correct or not? How to check? Do you remember? How to check if this is the correct one?
بنجيب الانفرس ونجيب التاني وبنعملهم multiply.
Okay, can you please check? 2 over 5. 2 over 5.
2 over 5.
Okay. 2 over 5, I think there is something wrong in this problem. 2 over 5, I believe, and 2 over 5, which is going to equal to. I think we are missing the sign, so this is 1 minus 2, it's going to be 3 over 5, 0, yes. There, no. 0 minus 25, which one?
اللي هو negative 2 over 5 و negative 2
1 minus 2 over 5 is 3 over 5, so these are the numbers. Yes. The mistake is here. Now, those are the numbers of the inverse, so we are getting the inverse. This is the numbers, changing the sign of the other two columns.
مش احنا we already changed the signs.
Yes.
خلاص هيبقى نحطهم بقى زي ما هم. احنا we changed
لا 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 لا. ده 1 minus 2 over 5, ده minus 2 over 5, without 0 minus 2 over 5, it's really correct. This is the main matrix. I want to get the inverse of this matrix. This is the inverse by multiplying by this value, so this should be correct. Okay, let's check. 3 times 2 over 5, it's going to be 3, 2 over 2 over 5. So it's going to be, so the first one is going to be 6 over 5, and this one is going to be 4 over 5, so it's 10 over 5, so it's going to be 2. No, there is something wrong in here. For the inverse matrix, what we did wrong, I minus A, 1 minus 2 is going to be 3 over 5. We are trying to get the inverse of this matrix, so simply we multiply those numbers, so it's going to be 9 over 25. Then a minus, for a positive, of 4 over 25, which is going to get a difference, which is 5 over 25. Just replace them, the denominator for them is going to be a denominator, so it's 5. Multiplying once more will lead to 3, 2, 2, and 3. There is something I'm doing wrong here. Can you please check with me? This is R minus 8 over negative 1.
1 over.
Okay. To the hell with it. Okay, let's first evaluate the determinant, which is going to be, okay.
احنا المفروض نعمل
ها؟
لا اكشن.
طيب خلاص، تعالى نوجد الانفرس بالطريقه العاديه خالص من غير الشورت كات اللي احنا عملناه. First of all, and I've got the numbers 1 minus 2 over 5, 0 minus 2 over 5, so it's a 3 over 5. بعدين minus 2 over 5, then I will have minus 2 over 5, then I will have 3 over 5. This is the difference of this matrix. The determinant of this matrix will be, this is the determinant of A, which is going to be 9.